Hey guys, today we are looking at the new Battlefield 3 patch which dropped today. I was really looking forward to this patch with the proposed M16A3 nerf. And being predominantly an M16A3 player, I felt it would mean it would take more skill to use the gun, and I was all for that. As well as the M16A getting nerfed, they were going to buff the M416, supposedly. More on that in a second. But also the heavy barrel has had some of its bonus accuracy reduced, as well as the silencer, which has had some of its range bonus increased. So some interesting things from a competitive infantry player that we're going to be changing in this patch. Obviously there's loads and loads of other stuff in the patch, but I'm going to be focusing mainly on these weapon changes. Now reload times have changed as well for many weapons. But fear not, it's not a massive change whatsoever. When the patch dropped last night, I spent some time shooting some footage of all the guns that were going to have their reload or recoil changed, in the hope of kind of doing like a side-by-side comparison. But I found that a lot of them, the difference really is too small to even notice. DICE did say in the notes that for most of the weapons it's purely aesthetic to try and get the animation lined up with the actual reload. But for some weapons it will give a reload performance increase, but it's not a drastic amount. You're looking at probably 0.1 of a second, if that. Now I'm going to start by just going over the M16A3, which by the patch notes information has been nerfed, but quite frankly I don't think it has. I mean, sure, the recoil may have changed and maybe the spread is slightly worse, but I don't think it's enough to stop people from using it. The underslung and heavy barrels still work really well. Tap firing is still really accurate. Of course, at full auto there is slightly more recoil, but for the most part I don't notice the increase at all, which I think is a bad thing. In this footage in the background, I'm using the underslung and the heavy barrel with the M16, and quite frankly, I'm not really noticing so much of a difference that it's all of a sudden now harder to hit people. Alongside that though, the M416 has had a vertical recoil, it's had its recoil reduced, and its first shot recoil also reduced. Now the M416, and you might have watched a couple of my videos previously, the M416 was a really good gun. Tap firing it, super accurate. I actually don't think though that it's very good anymore. I think personally the weapon has been completely offset by another change that they've made. And DICE has reduced the accuracy bonus of the heavy barrel slightly, and I think this has affected the M416 in a bad way more than it has done the M16A3. The M416 doesn't feel as accurate to me as it used to. It's still very good tap firing and it's still a very good gun, but bursting off full auto I don't think is anywhere near as accurate as the M16A3. Certainly not enough to make you warrant changing weapons in my opinion. I just don't think they've nerfed the M16A3 enough. Somehow, and again this is my opinion, they've managed to make its main rival, the M416, worse than it was. That's just my initial view. Maybe with some more playtime and some more time playing with the M416, that will change my mind. And if I find the right combination of attachments, maybe I can be proved wrong in that regard. Now, the suppressor, I think, as well, may have more of a role. Its range penalty has been reduced, and having an underslung suppressor on the M16, it performs pretty well. It might be a viable alternative to the heavy barrel in some circumstances. It does struggle sometimes dropping people compared to the heavy barrel, but it might be a potential to go with. I think it'll take a couple of days again, just getting a complete understanding of how all the guns are operating to give an informed decision on that, but it is certainly something to look out for. Now, one of the weapons that maybe I thought would come to the forefront after this patch would be the AEK. In this patch, obviously with the M16 supposedly getting nerfed, I thought, well, the AEK is certainly going to be an option for people. It's had its reload decrease, so it's a little bit faster. I don't think you're going to notice a massive amount of difference with it, but it has been changed. Now, I thought, yep, it's going to be used a lot more than previously, but nothing else in the gun has been changed. Its recoil and spread are exactly the same, so I don't really understand how the AEK is going to be used as an alternative now rather than before, when the M16A3 is still the gun of choice and the AEK spread and recoil have remained the same. Same with the F2000, its reload has been decreased, but there's no change to the actual weapon. So really, I still don't see that there's a gun to compete with the M16A3's superiority. Moving on now a little bit to pistols. Now again, this is a bit odd. It's a bit like the M16A3. The Magnum is meant to have had its rate of fire slowed down to sort of differentiate it from the Rex. Now I actually put two videos side by side with the Magnum before and after the patch, and I really failed to notice any difference at all. So if it has been slowed down, it must be a real minor adjustment. On the other side of the coin, though, the rate of the fire of the Rex has been increased, and it is a noticeable difference. It's a beast at close range now. The Magnum is still the better choice for middle to long range, as the Rex's accuracy really falls off at medium range, but the Rex is at close range. You can get it out so fast, and it just bing, ding, ding, so fast. It's unbelievable. Now I may start doing over the next couple of days some weapon comparisons. Obviously I took a lot of footage before the patch, so I might start doing some. It really depends how things progress and whatnot, and I'll see what sort of difference there is actually with the weapons and whether it's worth doing a comparison for them. But keep an eye out for that. Now, just to go over some things that were in the patch that I'm pretty interested in, I'm not really going to cover the vehicle elements, as I'm not really a vehicle player, so I don't really see the point. But let's go over a couple of other things other than these main weapon changes. I can finally say, though, the spawn screen bug has been fixed. So for those of you who have had it like myself, you'll be jumping for joy. If you haven't had it, then you're one of the lucky ones. Either way, that's been fixed. MP5 damage, that's been slightly increased, making it a bit more of a usable gun. The underslung on the AUG and the SCAR-L now actually get an accurate hipfire bonus from the laser sight. That was bugged before. There's some various battle log fixes that they've thrown in as well, showing the correct caliber of weapons, the correct clip size. So they've altered that. The jackhammer, or MK3A1 for its real name, now is going to use flechette rounds instead of frag rounds in Gunmaster mode. I don't really play a lot of Gunmaster, but that is a good change for me, because that jackhammer is god awful on Gunmaster. It really is. So I think that's a good change. Moving on now to the minimap, you may have noticed that it has changed slightly. Well, not so much changed, but the map icons on the actual minimap seem a little bit more prominent now. I'm playing in colorblind mode. I don't know whether that's just restricted to colorblind mode, but they do seem a little bit more prominent. And above the minimap, there are now letters within the map icons to correctly display the flag name. So that's a good thing. They have also added in some clan tags to the name card when you've been killed. Small little fix, but quite a good one nonetheless. You also now get ribbons for winning in Gunmaster and Domination on close quarters. So that's another little fix that they've added in. Now, those are not all the tweaks. They're not all the fixes that they've done. I've just really pulled certain ones out from the list just to narrow it down a little bit. If you do want the entire list, then I'll put the link in the description, so just read through it. I don't think that all the changes DICE wanted to do really have worked that well. I think they wanted to make the assault rifles more... They wanted to change it around so you would have a choice of assault rifles and not just use the M16A3. But I just don't think they haven't done it very well. The M16A3 is still the go-to gun in my eyes. As I say, if that changes over the next couple of days when I'm playing, I don't think it will, but we'll see. So I think this patch has been a bit of a failure. I think that these weapon changes I don't think really have worked personally. On a side note though, Armored Kill is now out for PlayStation 3 premium users today. That's why this patch came out today. It's out next week for PC users on premium. If you were interested in PlanetSide 2, my second tutorial video covering the basics of the game is out today, so check that out. Look out for plenty more content coming this week and in the coming weeks. I've got more competitive series Battlefield coming out. I've also got Armored Kill coming out next week, so some videos are going to be done on Armored Kill. Loads more content coming out. So until next time, peace.